Good evening. I would like to call the September 27th, 2023 meeting to order. We have 6 board members present this evening. And we'll move on to adoption of the agenda.
I would move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
Okay. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. We will move on to public comment. And the first item on the agenda is one of our favorite things to do, where we will be thanking our donors of our school supplies. So if they could come forward.
Tonight, the Board of Education would like to recognize the First United Methodist Church for organizing the 2023-2024 School Supply Donation Project and their many community partners, which include the United Women in Faith organization. We appreciate your charitable donation of school supplies for our students from pre-K through 12th grade. Your generosity has allowed each of our students to begin the school year on an even playing field with all students having the same and necessary supplies. Thank you for all of your hard work and the energy that goes into making this project successful. The families of USD253 greatly appreciate your efforts. Thank you for also joining us tonight and for your support of Emporia Public Schools and our families.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to item 3B, the program highlight from Flint Hills Learning Center.
Okay. Tonight we have Justin Sargent, Director of Flint Hills Learning Center, and also some staff and students. So come on up. They're going to talk about 180 Days of Awesomeness. We did a podcast and talked about that. And then also they have a great presentation to highlight everything they've been doing at the Flint Hills Learning Center. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, board, for allowing us to be here. For those who don't know, my name is Justin Sargent. I'm the assistant principal with the Emporia High School, as well as the director of the Flint Hills Learning Center. I have with me Mrs. Karen Sargent, no relation. She spells her name wrong. Okay, it's really me, I know. Teacher of the Flint Hills Learning Center, as well as Irma Rigosa, our administrative assistant, and a couple students who decided to come and share some of the great things going on. So with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Karen Sargent.
Okay, I just have to tell this quick story about no relation. So last year, I have a student, actually he's standing right behind me. He was going to email me an assignment. He's like, I said, well, make sure you spell my name right when you email it to him. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I spell mine different from Mr. Sargent. He goes, well, how's that even possible since you're his mom? And so the next day I'm telling Mrs. Ragosa this story and I'm like, Alice, I thought it was his mom. I go, and another student goes, that's really funny since you're really his husband, he's really your husband. And I'm just like, oh my God. So now I have a picture of my husband in front of my desk and it says, this is my husband. And every day is like, new kids are like, oh man, I didn't know you guys weren't married. So.
I also point out that when I was being hired, she was part of the interview committee. And of course, I was in California at the time. And so the very first thing anybody from the school district ever said to me was her. And she said, you know, you spell your name wrong correctly, right? So that's always an ongoing joke. So.
Okay. So I'm Karen Sargent, and this is my 31st year at the Learning Center. I did my student teaching in Emporia schools, and this has been my one and only job teaching is at the Flint Hills Learning Center. So yes, I'm very passionate about my job. I'm not one of those teachers that's counting down the days to retirement. My goal is 40 years. So I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So we were given this opportunity to go to the Model Schools Conference. So as a 30-year educator, I'm like, you know what? I need something that's going to kind of keep me going. You know, I don't want to be known as that old hag teacher. Everybody's saying, oh my God, is she almost done yet? So I'm like, I need to do something that kind of gets me going, reviving me. So Justin allowed us the opportunity to pick our own sessions when we went to the schools. He's like, let's all go to different ones so we can, you know, divide and conquer, learn some new things. So one of the first ones I went to, this man had turned around a school district in like 3 years. And I was like, okay, God, this is a good one. But then the next one I went to was the 180 Days of Awesome with Monica Genta. And she was awesome. So this lady, she's like, I taught for 7 years in a middle school. And she's like, I was burnt out. I'd had it. These kids were horrible. She's like, so I packed up all my stuff at the end of school year. I went home and I told my parents, I quit my job. You know, and her mom's like, oh, it's okay. You know, we'll figure out something else. And the dad's like, I got you. He's like, you know, I sell used cars. He's like, you'll come work for me. So he's like, report for work tomorrow. She's like, well, wait, it's summer. And he's like, no summer. He's no, you're not a teacher anymore. You come to work for me. So she sold cars all summer. And she's like, God, this is really awesome. You know, I think I'll be all right at this. And then come August, she goes, I went into Walmart and went down the school aisles and there's all these cool folders and stuff. And she was just like, I found myself putting all these school supplies in the cart. And then I get home and I'm just like, gosh, maybe I need to go back to teaching. So she's like, luckily she hadn't told her principal that she quit, only her parents. So she went back, started the school year. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to do something. So she's like, I'm going to have 180 days of awesome. I'm going to find the good in every day. Every day isn't good, but there's going to be something good about every day. So she kept a journal every day about what her awesome was. And, you know, it was maybe something really simple. Maybe, you know, a certain kid said hi to her, or maybe, you know, she had a new skirt, or, you know what I mean? Whatever it was always just one thing, not a whole big journal writing. So one day in her class, her kids said something. She goes, that's so cool. She goes, you're going to be my awesome today. And the kids were like, what does that mean? And so she told them, you know, what she was doing, how, you know, she writes something down. And so like a couple weeks later, the English teacher comes in and drops all these journals on her desk. She goes, what's the meaning of this? And she's like, oh my God, what have I done? She's like, all these kids are suddenly starting to write, my awesome of the day is blah, 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 blah. And she's like, they're writing all these wonderful sentences. She's like, I've never gotten kids to write anything. She's like, and now they're writing these awesome journals. And so I was like, I knew that writing journals might be a little bit much just to start out with for our students. So I was like, what's one thing that we can do to incorporate the 180 days of awesome? So if you can, yeah, there we go. So we started doing some things. I was just like, we need to do something cool. So the first thing we're like, let's have this be our, what do I want to call it? The theme for the year. I was like, this is our theme. So Mrs. Raygosa made us all these cool shirts. So we have 180 days of awesome. Okay. I was so excited the first day of school when we came to the breakfast. This is the first time in 31 years my staff had matching shirts. I was always jealous of all the like Riverside and everybody's always had these cool matching shirts. And we're like, we're the Learning Center. And so I'm just tired of people saying the Learning Center. Okay. I'm just like, we're the Flint Hills Learning Center. We're not a bad place to be. And I don't want our kids to think that either. And I'm tired of the public thinking we're this horrible place, because we're not. We're doing some great things. So this year we have staggered start times. So there's 3 different times that kids come to school. They come at 8, they come at 10:30, or they come at 1:30. So that way they can adjust their work schedules. They know every day I'm going to be there at that time. So that has made a huge difference in the production, you know, of kids. They finish more classes. They know they love routine. They may say they hate having to be there, but they like having to be there at a certain time. So they come and we know they're going to be there, and that allows us to build relationships because we're there. It says daily greetings. One of the teachers, myself or Mrs. Roth, is there every morning at the table where they sign in, And we're there to just, hello, Alize, hello, good morning, Akira, whatever their name is, and greet them, okay? That brings in the capturing kids' hearts. We had that training. That's the single best the professional development we've ever had in Emporia. So whatever you spent on that, that was the best thing we've ever done in 31 years. Because literally, that's the only thing that I'm like, this is something I'm really going to use. Not that the other ones weren't, because they were all right. But I'm just saying, this is going to be one that I will always remember. And I will tell other school districts, you need to get capturing kids' hearts, because this is awesome. This is like everyday good stuff. So we make sure we greet them, make sure we tell them something nice about them, whether it's at the beginning or the end of the day. So that allows us to build relationships. So, but before we did that with the students, we had to start with staff, because that guy who turned that Florida school district around in 3 years, he said, you got to start at the top. He's like, the administration and the staff, they have to be together. They have to like each other. And if the staff is happy, then that flows over into the students, because it's always better when you like your job and you want to come to work. And it's like, and then the kids feed off that. They can tell who's positive and who's not. So then they are so much better. We are building these relationships and having conversations with students every single day. So we can tell those kids who aren't having a very good day, and you know what I mean? Maybe oh, you're having a bad day, or you know what I mean? Let's try again tomorrow, because everybody has a bad day. So, but those have become less and less. And we've had these kids who hardly spoke to us last year, who are coming in and telling us and speaking to us and being like, oh my gosh, you'll never guess what happened. You know what I mean? Things that never happened before. We're having these awesome conversations. So when they leave every day, they have to put on a little sticky note an awesome of the day. So they have to actually write something down. So they come and they check out with the teacher, and we discuss their progress and maybe talk about what they can do tomorrow, that kind of stuff. So now we have kids writing things like, I got 15 assignments done today, because we like for them to get 10. 6 is the minimum, but most of them get 10. So, I mean, some of them, I had a girl this week, she stayed extra and she got 40 assignments done. I'm like, this is a kid who maybe did 40 assignments all last year. And so, I mean, all of a sudden, they feel like they're part of the school. They feel like there's a caring adult there, because some of our students don't have any caring adults in their lives, and they just need somebody to be nice to them. Because obviously the students that we have at our school maybe haven't had a positive experience at other schools. And all it takes is one person to turn those kids around and make them like school again. And that's what we're trying to do with our focus on positivity, our daily affirmations. So by making them focus on positivity, they have to think of one good thing. So that just makes them think, everything isn't doom and gloom. And they put their awesome of the day on the wall. And so does the staff. The staff does the same thing. We're also, we have a post-secondary focus. Each one of the staff members had to choose a college, and we made a college poster that, kind of promotes that college, just tells where it's at. We have them from all over the country. They're not just all KU. We have KU, K-State, Fort Hays State, Emporia State, and the Tech College. But we also have good ones like South Dakota State. That's where my daughter goes. And North Carolina, whatever. That was his. So the kids know that they're not just limited to Emporia. They can go somewhere else. The Flint Hills Tech College came and did a presentation. We got a really nice email from the ladies saying that our kids behaved better than most of the high schools behaved. So we felt really good. And some of them have even scheduled campus visits. Most of the time, kids no, I'm done with school. But now they're actually going to the tech college, and they've already done campus visits. And so we feel like we're really making a difference in their lives. So we asked some kids to come. We had a lot more lined up, but they had to work. One girl had to put her cat down, so I wasn't going to make her come. Sorry. And then, so we do have Alize Alanis and Akira Hall that came to talk about it. Because I know when we asked, we're like, hey, what do you think is different? They're like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that they see the difference, but we see how much more work they're doing, how much happier they are, how much, everything, the relationships that we're building. So, Alice, did you want to say?
Hi, my name is Alize Alanis. I've been at the Flint Hills Learning Center for going on 3 years now. I really didn't have any plans for an education after high school. I really didn't have a plan for my future, an idea what I was going to do. And now I have taken a tour of the tech college, and I'm looking at 2 programs, mostly industrial engineering or business technology. So my goal is to finish high school by December so I can start in the spring semester. Conveniently, those 2 programs were both in the spring semester also. So changes I've noticed over the years is just I feel like they've cared a lot more about what happens to students after they leave the learning center. I feel like over time, we just build a relationship, and it's not just caring about about our life and education, but our personal lives and how we're doing. But other than that, it's a pretty cool place to be. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name's Akira Hall, and I've been going to the Flint Hills Learning Center for about 2 years. Some of the things and like some of the like things that I could tell that have changed is like the energy. It used to be from like not really like, iffy to like to now like it's like uplifting and like a fun place to be, and like you build a lot of connections with some of the teachers and the staff.
So as you can see, this slide shows that our college things that we made. There's also a picture there in the middle of our English as a second language program, which has really grown. So, and we have a morning program and an evening program, and usually it kind of tails off by now, but no, we just have more and more coming and coming. And so it's awesome to see. We have our new teacher, Rhonda Hajir, is in the morning, and so our awesomeness is carrying over into our ESL program also. So this just kind of shows you, we started out here at the beginning of the year, and then after week 1, we did like, wow, that was a lot. And now it just keeps growing, and that just kind of shows you the progression of what they have been putting up there. So we invite you to stop by sometime if you'd like to. I mean, it's kind of fun to see what they put up there that's important to them and the good things that they think. So thank you very much for letting us share our good news of the Flint Hills Learning Center.
Do we have any questions?
I guess I didn't have that.
I appreciate your enthusiasm. Just amazing for you and your matching shirts, and very happy to hear that capturing kids' hearts touched you. I will share that I have a friend who has a student attending this year for the first time, and at first her student was very apprehensive, but it's been a great fit, and the student feels very successful, and I know that's largely in part to you guys. So great job.
Thank you.
I would like to add, so you noticed that we moved graduation last year. So that was something that we talked about, and we wanted to really elevate the Learning Center. And if students maybe didn't have the best experience at Emporia High School, that may not be the place where they wanted to graduate, was to go back. So having it at the Granada was a really special event.
Yeah, it was really neat. So if you can make it this year, it was really neat to see. Thank you.
And that just makes me feel really proud and really inspired by who we are as a district, that we center kids all the time. And just even those touches like that, thinking about whether this building is better or this building is better for them, it just makes me proud that, we think so much more beyond just, the math and the reading, but we do take care of the whole child and the entire young adult.
And I wanted to just give you guys props for the work you also do, not just for the kids, but also the adults who come back to further their education. When I worked at KLS and did a lot of criminal defense work and domestic and family law work, I had a lot of adult clients, a lot of people that English was a second language for. They would go to the Flint Hills Learning Center, they got their degree, they were able to advance themselves. And so we help obviously kids who may be in a need for a different environment, but I was able to see firsthand just the adults who were able to change their lives for the better with the help of you, your organization, and your staff. And I want to make sure that doesn't go unsaid.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming this evening.
Yes, thank you.
Your presentation made my awesome for today.
Absolutely. Oh, good.
Okay, Casey, we're moving on to item 3C. Casey, do we have any public comment this evening?
We do not have any.
Okay, thank you. And as a reminder, anyone wishing to provide public comments should complete the request to submit comments form on our website, and the form needs to be completed by 1 p.m. on Wednesday, the day of the board meeting. Grant?
I just wanted to acknowledge the passing this past week of Marianne Phillips and her husband Leroy in a terrible house fire. But Marianne was a member of the Board of Education. I'm not sure the years, but back in the 70s or 80s. And so we appreciate her dedication and past commitment and extend sympathy to their family.
Thank you so much, Grant. We are moving on to item 4, the consent agenda. The items listed on the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Education to be routine business items. Approval of the items may be made by a single motion, second, and a majority vote with no separate discussion of any item listed. Should a member of the board desire to discuss any item at his or her request, it will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. What are the wishes of the board?
I motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. And I would also like to note that we have several donations to our programs and schools here in our district. So we want to thank all of those donors for their generosity. And we are going to move on to item 6 for our district highlights.
Here so soon. So I've been changing it up just a little bit each time. And I was out at Village at September the 14th, and that was when we had some ESU basketball players there to greet the kids. They made a little tunnel, and so you may have seen some of that on social media. They had a great time. The basketball players were bringing such a huge amount of energy. The kids, not all the kids enjoyed it. I mean, some kids kind of skirted around it, but they had a really good time. They could choose if they wanted to high five, fist bump, or whatever they wanted to do, or just walk through. So I went inside. They were eating some breakfast, and so I was talking just to some students and staff members, and a student came up and introduced herself. She's a 3rd grade student, and we were just talking and asking how her year was going. She said she had a first-year teacher in her classroom. And so I said, well, so are you showing her the ropes? And she said, nope, she knows everything. And she was very impressed at how well her teacher was doing. And so we talked a little bit more. And again, the student could not believe that her teacher knew so much already and was doing so well with it being her first year. She was very impressed. So it's always nice to hear that student perspective. I happened to see a teacher at Walnut. We were actually out at the grocery store, and she had her little infant with her, and she wanted to share how thankful she is for the childcare classroom. It's very nice for her to be able to see her child during the day and how well she's being taken care of. Timmerman, a kindergarten parent who is new to our district, said that his daughter loves kindergarten and actually does not want to be picked up early from Boys and Girls Club because of how much fun she's having. And he said, I can't tell you how much she's enjoying school and the Boys and Girls Club. That's really cool to hear. I also sat in on the HMH training, which is our new English language arts, with the 1st and 4th grade teachers at Timmerman. I think that was last week. And then the trainer was so impressive and took the questions from the teachers, gave them shortcuts, talked about this is the way that I would do it. I wouldn't do it this way. It was just so beneficial, and all the teachers left really empowered. And she's going to be back in December. So she made all the different visits with the elementary. I happened to be out at Kansas Avenue and Elementary Connection. So I want to give a big shout out to our teacher, Sean Russell. He does an amazing job. He previously worked with Crosswinds before he came, so he's on a little bit alternative track. The students were coming in from recess, and there was a student who was not quite ready, didn't like how recess ended, and so was having a difficult time returning to class. And Sean just did such a great job. He just used humor, patience, talked to the student, and the student was ready to go back to class in less than 10 minutes. I mean, Sean's amazing. I just want to do a shout out as well to our social media. Carlos is doing such an amazing job, and it's everything from the Prophet Aquatic Research and Outreach Center with our honors biology class, which was really amazing to see those pictures, to William Allen White Recess. It doesn't have to be something big. It's just seeing what is natural and what's happening in our schools that are great every day. And we ended our week last week with first day that we were wearing all of our district shirts, and we had our district-wide tailgate. It's our first annual tailgate for district staff and their families. We have pictures that Casey put together. Thank you, Judy, for getting people over there to the iPad to take pictures. Not everybody was real excited about that. But it was fun. We served about 200 people, a little bit more. We had a few people who showed up who were not staff, but we went ahead and fed them anyway. And then we had some extra hot dogs left over. And we did have some people who RSVP'd and a little extra on there, but we'll just look at how we're doing that next year. We got some feedback. It's been really positive. We've also been looking at maybe we don't do it on homecoming next year because there's a lot with the parade and everybody trying to get in to see the candidates. So it was a really great time. So thank you all for joining us, and for our principals, assistant principals, our district leadership, Casey, Lindell, and Jess for getting all the hot dogs and getting everything set up. So we're looking forward to next year.
Great, thank you. And that was a fun tailgate. I really enjoyed it. Okay, the next item on the agenda is item 8A, executive session. Oh, board calendar. I was trying to rush this faster, I guess. So the next items, the next calendar dates for our board meetings on October 11th, we will start a little early and we will be at the high school for our student council board dinner, which we moved up earlier on the calendar this year. We will have our regular board meeting immediately following at the high school, and then we'll meet again on October 25th and November 8th here at Mary Herbert Education Center. Now, item 8A, executive session.
I move we enter executive session for 15 minutes to discuss the superintendent evaluation pursuant to the non-elected personnel exception under COMA, and will return to open session in this room at 7:12 p.m. No action is anticipated.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Where'd everyone go?
I know.
What did I do?
Mhm.
I would move
Motion.
I would move we return to regular session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned. Have a good evening.
Oh, Madam President, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second. Second.
It's my wedding anniversary. All in favor? Okay.
Right hand.
Motion passes 6-0.
Happy anniversary. Oh, yeah.